Do you really believe that? Yep. Can you really feel and experience? I can when I'm here in this place, that there is only love. I can experience that and feel it when I'm with my family, with my wife, when I'm swimming in the ocean, when I'm feeling all those wonderful things of life that I know were meant for everyone. I feel that there is only love in the universe. And then I see what human beings are capable of in the opposite extreme. And I say, where did that come from? If there's only love, what is that? What is that war? What is that destruction? What is our insistence on building up our war machine, our defenses? What is our insistence on judging and attacking others? What is our insistence on ignoring things like climate change, which could end all of our experience here on earth? What is our insistence on separation from others and from God? I think what I mentioned last week holds the key to that answer. The key is our limiting thoughts and beliefs. That's what brings about all of the belief that there's something opposite from love, and that I need to act from those beliefs, that I need to act from fear, from judgment of others, that I need to defend myself and attack. It comes from limiting beliefs. It comes from things that are not true. They're not true about you, and so they're not true about me. Remember, whatever I'm saying about someone else is what I'm saying about myself. It's what I believe about myself. And it doesn't matter what they're doing or how they're appearing. Whatever I am saying about the person out there, I am actually saying about myself. So the next thing you remember last week, the average person, you weren't here, I'll say it for you. The average person has 70,000 thoughts per day. 90% of them are what? Repetitive and redundant. It's the same thoughts. 80% of those repetitive and redundant thoughts are negative. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you remembered. Smart crowd, I love it. But the next thing we do with those thoughts, I wanted to forget that, so thanks for remembering. I don't want to admit that 80% of my thoughts are negative and they're all redundant, going over and over again. The Course in Miracles says that my meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Oh my goodness, I think I found the cause of all the anger, all the hatred, all the crap I see out in the world. It's my meaningless thoughts. Well, that's too much for me, man. I'd rather blame somebody else. It's easier to blame somebody else because now I'm not responsible for what I see. But my meaningless thoughts certainly are affecting me. Forget the world for a minute. What are those meaningless thoughts doing to you in your life, in your health, in your relationships, in your prosperity, in your feelings each and every day of how you react to people around you, how you are in relationship with your family and your loved ones, and even the stranger on the street. How you are responding to the world is a product of how you are looking at yourself, what's going on in your mind, right? That's a real, for me, a real good thing. It's a blessing to know that, because now I've identified the source of the problem, my own thinking. The next thing that happens is that those thoughts become our beliefs, and those beliefs become our actions, and the cycle of negativity and conflict continues because we're acting on beliefs that are negative. We repeat them over and over again. That's why we think they're true. That's the only reason we think that any of it's true, is because we're repeating it over and over again. You think that hatred and war and greed and poverty and destruction are natural to the human condition. We've always had that stuff. We always will. We are human beings. I don't buy it for a second. You can believe that if you want, but you've run into one person who's going to tell you, I don't believe it. I really don't experience life that way. I don't. I believe and I experience life as there is only love, just how that song says. And I am determined and dedicated to tap into that eternal and ever-present love each and every moment. That gives me a new direction for my mind, for my thoughts, for my beliefs, and my actions. I can tap into that. I can use the power of my mind to tap into the universal and eternal love. Those things are not natural to the human condition. Love is natural. Healing is natural. Compassion and cooperation are natural. Miracles are natural. If it does not come from love, it's a limiting idea in belief. It goes against our essential nature, and therefore, I don't think, even logically, you could call that natural. Scientifically, if it goes against your essential nature, it's not natural. It's not, and if it's not natural, I don't want to be doing it. I'm going to dedicate myself to something else. We call it truth. How can I change my thoughts? I know I can change my thoughts because I know that I don't think the way I used to. We used to think the world was flat. We used to think it was impossible to fly around like a bird. We do it every day now. We used to think it's impossible to talk to somebody without wires connecting. I want to talk about last week I keep looking for something. It must be this. Like, where is that? I talked about divine ideas, and I talked about how human beings can also take the same action of mind that's in divine ideas and make them manifest in your world. And everything starts out as an idea, even in the physical realm. Nikola Tesla was describing a cell phone back in 1928, before there were even telephones. That we would carry a means of communication that was powered by this source of energy that's all around us. We didn't need wires to communicate, and we would have it all in our vest pocket. The only thing he forgot is that we won't be wearing vests. Unless you're from the 80s. When I got married, my wife opened my closet and said, that's what she said. I don't know where I went for 30 years, but I woke up one morning and somebody had put all these clothes from the 80s in my closet. Skinny ties with flowers on them and vests. I had like 15 vests, all kinds of different vests. We don't have those anymore. Some people do. Bruce does. I could find some in his closet. But the point is, we live in a limitless universe with the potential for unlimited ideas. Why do I want to limit my thinking and my beliefs if I live in a limitless universe? So the key to this is don't believe everything you think. It's going around and around and around. 90% of those redundant thoughts, you can stop them. What are the 10%? I had a teacher that said, wait a minute. Focus on the other. He didn't give us that much. He said 3%. Focus on the 3% that reminds you of truth. Focus on the 3% that knows who you are. The certainty that you are a holy child of a holy, loving God. Focus on that. Don't believe everything you think. Your thinking changes all the time. This guy, he's a Maharaj from India, Nisargadatta Maharaj, and he is one of my favorites. Patricia's one of her favorites too. He says, to know that you are a prisoner of your mind, that you live in an imaginary world of your own creation is the dawn of wisdom. Because once I recognize that I am limiting myself, that I'm a prisoner to my own thoughts, I'm going to stop them. What did Martha say? That's the only way she was able to do it last week. She was having those redundant negative thoughts, and she just told herself, stop it! It's like that's the voice for reason inside of you that always will come back and say, no, stop it. You know who you are. You know that you have true thoughts. You know that you can love in this situation. You know that you can make a difference. So once you realize that you're a prisoner, you will get out. You will realize the door is open, that there is no door on that prison, that you can walk out. See how he gets out? He can go right out through here. The light's coming in through the third eye. If you realized how powerful your thoughts were, you would never think a negative thought again. You think those thoughts just come to you, the negative thoughts. No, you're deciding to think that way. You're making up those thoughts. You decide to think them. Then you cherish and value those negative thoughts because you think they're going to save you from the negative world out there. But the negative world out there was created by your negative thoughts. It's a vicious cycle. How's it going to end? What's the answer? All right. Jack asked me this week, but it's not that easy sometimes. He said, what is your message this week? Stay positive. He said, what is your message this week? And I said, overcoming limited thoughts and beliefs. He says, wow, is there a button you can press for that? It would be good, wouldn't it? It would be great. There actually is. But I have to choose to push it. I have to choose to keep going there in my mind because I'm training myself to be positive. If you want to stay positive, you have to train yourself to be positive. So you must correct your mind. This is Lao Tzu. I mean, this guy, he was the guy who wrote the Tao Te Ching, the I Ching. He's the favorite teacher of Wayne Dyer. And he was before Jesus, so he was 2,500, 3,000 years ago, something like that. And I'm still using his words today. Because they're true. A true statement will last forever. The truth never goes away. What does it say in the Bible? The heaven and earth will pass away, but my word will endure forever. If you correct your mind, the rest of your life will fall into place. Correct your mind. Constantly keep watch over your mind. You'll be so happy when you do it. Because when you're staying positive, when you're thinking positive thoughts, positive things happen. And now you start to see all the positive things that are occurring in the world. Because there are a lot of people who are being focused and directed in their beliefs and in their actions on bringing about positive change. Not complaining about what's going on, but bringing about positive change. So if we want to learn a new way to be, we have to learn a new way to think. Marianne Williamson. Because what you are is limited only by what you think you are. Yeah, you could just take in one of these for a long time, You could meditate on any one of these statements because they're all true. That's why I like to bring you guys true statements. That's from the Egyptian Book of the Dead. They're talking to us from the other side. Every act of love and kindness raises the vibration of the entire universe. That's staying positive, my friends. Every act of love. So know that every time you're acting from love, you're raising the vibration of the whole universe. At least your planet and your community and your family and friends. You can start there. Start raising the vibration within your own surroundings. I love that. And know that you're having a great effect on the world by loving. And this is where you can claim your own power, that you are not at the effects of what seems to be out there. I claim my own power and I lovingly create my reality. Now, I can't do anything for you. If you want to create a reality that's not only love, that happens to have a lot of sadness and conflict and complaining and destruction and death and all those kinds of things, there's nothing anyone can do about that because it's your choice, and the power of your mind determines your reality. That's why in the last slide it said, if you knew the power of your mind, then you would never again think a negative thought. And you would do this instead. This is what we do in unity. We claim, we affirm our own power. We lovingly create our reality. And now we lovingly invite you into that reality. So no matter what you seem to be going through, it's okay. Be still. All is well. Let it change. Let it change. This too shall pass. Be in the now. Be here now. The other day I was thinking about all these things I had to do during the day. And, Lily always listening to Eckhart Tolle or somebody else constantly in the house. And then, if I'm not really, really present, she'll just go, be here now. Now try to think about a grievance. I'm like, I can't do it. Be here now. Now try to have a grievance. What's your next grievance? Who are you mad at now? Gee, nobody. I'm here now. I'm here with you now in this moment, present. Those things that are not natural, like anger, they just fall away. Judgment, grievances, resentments, they disappear. Where did they go? I don't know, but see you later. Let it go. Lovingly create your reality. And you can do that by being in the now. So our task is to free ourselves. This is one of the most intelligent things anybody has ever said. Albert Einstein. He was asked, what is it like to be the most intelligent man in the world? He says, I don't know, ask Nikola Tesla. But he did say some really cool things. Our task must be to free ourselves by what? Widening our circle of compassion. To embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature and its beauty. I have the whole quote here, and I want to read the whole thing to you. A human being is part of a whole, called by us the universe. A part limited by time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts, his feelings as something separate from the rest. A kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to the affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circles of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature and its beauty. Isn't that nice? So moving into Easter and into our Earth Day celebration, let us remember that our awakening is part of the resurrection experience. It's how we free ourselves from the prison. That we are awakening for ourselves and for the world. That there's a power beyond our imagination that we put into motion the minute we accept our true divine nature. If we want to clean up the planet, we must first clean up our thoughts, our limiting thoughts and beliefs. We have to start with our own minds. In this way, we will be sure to overcome all worldly limitations. and help bring humankind back into balance. It's the only way that I know of. Start with our minds. Why do we do this? Because everything in the physical world is made up of atoms. Atoms are made up of energy. And as close as I can tell, energy is made up of consciousness. That's why the real revolution, my friends, is going to be the evolution of your consciousness. So thanks for being here with me and undergoing the evolution of your consciousness, of doing everything you can to allow that to happen. And we can move forward together, knowing what we're doing now. We're evolving in our consciousness. Thank you so much.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass. And visit us online at www.unityoncapecod.org.